Yo. Welcome back to another edition of the Men Who Cry podcast. On today's episode, we will be talking about the NBA wrap-up. How does it feel to live in a world where the Knicks are NBA champions? Is Wemby officially a villain? And what's the NBA season going to look like in 2027? All up next with me and my co-host, Olisa Azikiwe. How do you feel knowing that the New York Knicks are officially NBA champions?
Man, astonished, a little bewildered, a touch of disbelief. I mean, honestly, I'm still in disbelief that they were able to win Game 4. Honestly, still in disbelief that the Knicks have been this good for this consistent of a run the past 4 years. So yeah, just the fact that in a lot of cases in NBA history, you have teams that like be really good for a good span, but like won't be able to reach the mountaintop and hold that Larry O'Brien trophy at the end of the season. Thinking about teams like the 90s Seattle Supersonics, 90s Jazz.
The 2010 Thunder?
There you go. Yeah. So uh, just think about how hard it is to lift a trophy up, and the fact that the New York Knicks were able to do this, it's still becoming real to me. And I'm not even a Knicks fan, so I can't believe how actual Knicks fans who actually went through all the suffering that was these past 30 years are feeling.
Yeah, man, it's kind of a surreal feeling. I spoke about this on the last pod where I was basically saying that this is one of the true holy grails of sports, of things that you thought we would never see. And frankly, not just holy grails of sports, things that I think we just never thought we're going to see. One, a woman president. We still don't know if we're going to get one of those, right? The Cubs winning the World Series. We have seen that in our lifetime. It's crazy to think that was 10 years ago. Another
Right.
thing that's passed by that was also been 10 years ago, which I think we kind of poo-poo, is that the Cleveland Cavaliers won a NBA championship. Will they win another NBA championship? I don't know about that. But, the fact that they got that one was miraculous. It's up there with the Browns winning the Super Bowl. It's up there with the Seattle Mariners winning the World Series, a team that's never won the World Series. I don't think the Mariners have even got to the World Series.
No.
Yeah, it's like these are one of the true holy grail things in sports. I think the difference is that this is New York, right? It
Exactly.
is supposed to be hated on. You're supposed to root against them. This is the town of the Yankees, of the Giants, of the Rangers, right? But the Knicks, I've always said before, the reason why I feel like they are the embodiments of the city is they have the pressure, the spotlight, and the scrutiny of the Yankees.
Mm.
But if you look at their history, they have the history of the Mets. It's a real thing, and it's so fascinating because you get all the angles. I get the super arrogant Yankee fandom that's like, now, I wouldn't even say arrogant. It's almost like, I frankly call it stupidity, because I have friends who are Yankees fans who find it somehow, some way disgusting that their team is, as of this recording, the best team in their not division, but their conference. League rather. I said conference. And still think somehow, and again, say this once, I'll say this again. I'll be 34 in a month. My entire life, the Yankees have never had a losing record in my lifetime.
Wow.
And yet, it is also, so that's one part of Knicks fandom. And then there's the other part, which is the Mets, where it's like the shoe's always going to drop, right? Oh, something's going to happen. Someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get, the Miami Heat series where Patrick Ewing and those guys got suspended for stepping on the court. It's the Reggie Miller shot, which people forget. The Knicks won that series. It's the Tyrese Halliburton shot with the choke job, part 2. It's whatever. It's always some boogeyman's gonna come and ruin the vibes. And we almost had a boogeyman ruin the vibes. They had a 13 winning streak. Something happened, and then they didn't lose a game after that. But neither here nor there. And I think the beautiful thing about this is that finally, for the first time, at least in my lifetime, it's just silence. It's just silence. What's there to say?
Yeah.
It's not like they beat a bunch of hurt teams on their way to the championship. Everyone by a large part was healthy. They
Even
weren't
Embiid
picked
was
to win.
healthy.
Embiid was healthy. I feel like we forget this. Like Embiid was healthy, and then he got hurt because Embiid always gets hurt, right? The team that they beat in the finals, people picked to beat them in the finals. I was even thinking about this. We'll get into where Jalen Brunson ranks too. I was very much trying to compare Wemby's run to the finals to what LeBron did in
Mhm.
2007. But it's really not like that
Mm-mm.
because his team, they're the same age as he is, right? Or around the
Yeah.
same age as he is, right? And I think, frankly, the talent, it wasn't like, the Spurs, again, were the favorites. I think we're going to look back on them and think that they were the underdogs and they were like this like spunky young team that this one guy led to them. That's not the case. They were picked to win this championship once they got to the finals. People said that the Western Conference Championship was the NBA Finals. And I mean, at this point, the Knicks had already dispatched the Cavs. It was a foregone conclusion that they were going to get smacked. So when we put it all in perspective, it is almost, we haven't fully appreciated the run that this team went on. They lost 3
Mhm.
games by, I
Right?
believe, a combined 6 points. Like they could have swept the entire playoffs. It is like, that is not an impossible thing that could have happened. And, that in itself, I think, is just truly what makes this run and, what has happened truly remarkable.
Yeah, I totally agree. And even to add on to that, I saw they had the best point differential in NBA playoff history,
Yeah.
essentially. And like when you think about, oh yeah, they did blow out the Hawks in Game 6, and we obviously remember what they did to the Sixers, and then who's
They blew out the Cavs
they
a
blew out
couple
the Cavs, of
times.
course, yeah. So just to think about a team that like everyone had was like really wishy washy on at the end of the regular season, putting together this type of postseason is really a testament to it's not how good you are, but when you are good. And then also, yeah, it just goes into another check in the box of how historic of an event that this was um, for a team that was good, was in the conversation, but like you just laid out, wasn't expected to lift the trophy at the end of the season. To be able to do that in damn near a dominant fashion, um, yeah, it's amazing to say it plainly.
Yeah. Truly an amazing kind of run and being led by a truly amazing player in Jalen Brunson. We can list off all the trophies. It's odd because basketball is becoming way more like soccer, in my opinion. And trophies is a big thing that we always talked about. I mean, just in this one season, Jalen Brunson won the NBA Cup, which now all of a sudden everyone loves the NBA Cup. Funny enough, it was a couple weeks ago. Everyone was like, "Why are we getting hyped about this thing?" Okay, now all of a sudden it's a real thing. Um, and also this shouts out to the Lakers because this is going to age well for them too. So all you Lakers fans, you should be rooting for this too. And I'm getting sidetracked, but fuck it. This was always my big issue about the cup. And this was not me saying this after the Knicks won. I said this when the Lakers won the cup and the Bucks won the cup. Over time, this thing is going to become cool because it is going to be a thing that is going to help your resume. Now, will it look weird if, like, I don't know, there's a guy in the league, let's say he wins 3 NBA cups, but he has 0 NBA championships. How will that like feel at the end of the day? Like, yes, we can have that conversation whenever we get to that point. But to me, winning games is only additive, right?
Mhm.
Like it shouldn't be something to hold you down per se, right? I think this comes a lot of times with the MVPs, right? Like Joel Embiid, do you think his Hall of Fame case would have been better if he never won MVP? and everything else stayed the same, or is it bolstered by the fact that he did win an MVP? I'm legit asking. I'm not asking a
I
rhetorical
mean,
question. Sorry.
no, of course. The fact that he was able to get an MVP, even thinking about how contentious that was and the debates between him and Jokic, yeah, that it only helps his case because like it allows people to wait in or like at least give more value to that over his lack of games played and his constant injuries and sometimes his playoff woes and disappointments. But like when you take into the fact that like he without a doubt with the trophy was one of the better or if not the best player in the league, especially when he was this person he beat out was also at his position. Yeah, it definitely builds up his Hall of Fame case.
Yeah, and I think we can have, because unfortunately the NBA Hall of Fame is a mixed bag of like it's not necessarily the Hall of Elites, it's the Hall of pretty good and or we liked you.
Yeah,
And so like Andre Iguodala is about to be a Hall of Famer. Like there's clearly like we let in a lot of people in that might not necessarily deserve to be in. But my point is that in a season where Jalen Brunson won uh the NBA Cup, he won the NBA Cup tournament MVP, shooting stars,
oh
sure. I'm
yeah,
not really counting that, but then the Eastern Conference player, the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, and the NBA championship. That's one of the most decorated
yeah,
years you can have. And I think that where he was initially thought of when he was signed to New York to where he is now, it is the thing that I think gives all people belief. I think we look at someone like a Steph Curry as an underrated story. I think what was his documentary called? I think it was Underrated or whatever.
yeah.
I'm like, Steph Curry was the 7th pick in the draft. This motherfucker was not underrated. like, yes, was he not the first pick in the draft? And obviously, looking back, clearly he should have been the first pick in the draft. Like, you saw a top 10 pick. People thought, and it was a consensus top 10 pick. He was not this like shocking selection going in the top 10. Brunson was picked 33rd, and mind you, had a better college career than Steph Curry. And
True.
still, he had to work and work and work and work and get to the place that he is. And I'm curious to think now, first, where do you think he ranks right now as far as NBA players, not guards, NBA players? And number two is, how high do you think he can climb as far as one of the all-time greats? Currently speaking, if we use Bill Simmons as our barometer, he has him 41st all time
Oh, okay.
in NBA rankings. He is ironically behind Walt Clyde Frazier in his rankings. But yeah.
Yeah. For the time being, I like to subscribe to like the King of the Hill model, and
Mm-hmm.
like you're the person who is the best is the person who's last standing uh type of thinking. So to me, I don't mind anyone saying Jalen Brunson is the best player in the league. You just listed out all the trophies he's won, and on top of the fact he was the best player for a championship winning team. I mean, give him to the victor goes all the spoils. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean
And
if
one
you're
very quickly, sorry, not to quick cut you off, but like once we got to game two, this thing was not very much in up for grabs. Obviously,
mm,
you know, once the Spurs won game three, maybe some people thought they could come back. But like you lose the first two games at home, you're going home. No
yeah,
team's ever come back from that.
right, for sure, and that's a big part of not only the Knicks but like Jalen Brunson's performance, even with the like not so great shooting efficiency, is the fact that he was like being able to manipulate the defense and like could damn near control the defense and like force people to react to him, allowing for his teammates to benefit from that. So yeah, and then on top of the fact the obviously the game five performance, uh, yeah, again he is on top of the hill right now, so he should get all the spoils that comes with that. He should be 99 overall in the next 2K. You know, so but if you were to be like more realistic or more rational about it, he is without a doubt top five in the league, which is funny thinking back to the all NBA teams and he didn't make first team, but like he is unequivocally
Never made first team. Crazy enough.
never made first team. But like unequivocally to me right now, he is top 5 and probably not even 5, probably higher than that.
Yeah, man, it is fascinating how we do these things. And these lists and these things of like who gets this, and it's so fascinating every single time. Like, I understand why we have these awards done during the regular season, right? If you don't have awards in the regular season, you are truly not caring about the regular season, right? Like, by a
Right,
large part, the regular season means nothing, and yet we have these accolades like MVPs, All Stars, All NBAs are just little trinkets at the end because guys want to be able to show this to say, hey, I did this, give me my money. Right.
right,
But where it really matters when guys are playing their best, it comes to postseason time. And I've always subscribed to, especially in the NBA, I give you way more credit in the postseason than I do in the regular season. It's the reason why I always love Jimmy Butler, right?
yeah,
It's a guy who's like, I'm with it come postseason time, right? The great ones take it to another level when it is postseason time because you see it every single time. Jalen Duren was like a consensus All NBA player.
yeah,
He looked awful come playoff time. What's James Harden's rap every single year, right? This guy has won MVPs and has been top 5 MVP finish, I think 4 other times or 3 other times. He's finished
yep.
twice, I think 2 other times.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like 3 years in a row. He was at least like
Yeah,
top
he
3
was
or top
top
2.
2.
Yeah,
Yeah, this man, he had a month where I think he averaged like 40 points in a, like for a
yeah,
month, like ridiculous. And come postseason time, I would never want that man on my team ever because I've seen his movies for too long. You know, I've seen the movies. I got the DVDs. I even got the bootlegs. I don't need them. Okay.
yeah,
And to see a guy in Brunson to not only have these really good regular seasons, but to turn it on so much come postseason time, to me is so fascinating. And the thing you even said, his first 2 games of the series, he was not shooting well. I wouldn't say he wasn't playing well, he wasn't shooting it well. But it's something that I've noticed a lot by watching him a lot. It's almost as if he needs time to really see what the defense is doing to him, right? You're not going to convince me that all of a sudden Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper are so much better defenders than Dyson Daniels. You know what I'm saying? Like Dyson Daniels, won a Defensive Player of the Year award. He
right.
The moment I saw this man send a Sir Thompson to 8 Mile and bang that 3 in his face, I was like, there's not a human alive that can hold him down long enough. And you see every single time. Go look at a lot of his series. The series he played against Philadelphia, his second run with the Knicks, he was having a terrible start to that series. He was shooting really poorly. That series was 2-0, and he did not play well. And the next game is going to be forgotten in history because Joel Embiid had 50 points in that game, but Brunson had 39 points and really got his efficiency up. From that moment on, he averaged 40 points in that series on good efficiency because he just needs time. When he gets the time to figure it out, he's figured you out, and there's nothing you can do. The man had 45 points on a Victor Wembanyama-led defense where he was going at Victor. And I can't say enough about who he is as a person and the fact that I don't think that this is done. I don't think this is a one and done. I think the Knicks have as good of a chance as every other team before them that won the championship to be able to repeat and get back to the finals, if not win.
I would agree with that. My only concern was that it came out this week that Dolan said he is not, um, does not plan on
Going on a
paying that
second
fifth
apron.
apron. Yeah,
Mhm.
so um, I mean, that just means that Leon Rose and World Wide West have to get in their bag in terms of being able to keep this roster together, or at least the fringes of the roster. Because I'm
Well,
pretty sure
I'm curious. I want to ask you, do you think they should do that?
I, you know, I did think about this before, and this situation kind of reminded me of the 2011 Mavericks team. You know,
Mavericks, yeah.
Cuban finally got his championship ring, and then Denny decided to get cheap and not pay, Tyson Chandler and there's a couple other people
It was
that he
JJ Barea. He also let
Jose
go.
Barea. Yeah. So this is giving me history is rhyming right now with that situation. I am in the boat of that, like, hey, don't break up the team that just won the championship. You should do everything you can to bring everyone back to the best of your ability. So, yeah, if they're able to do that, or able to afford it, they should bring everyone back because obviously they just won a championship. So, I don't see anyone right now on the roster that, like, I would say, I'm okay if they don't pay this person. I'm okay if they don't bring this person back. I think we saw throughout the playoffs that damn near everyone from spot 1 to 15 is important to this team in their own way. And, yeah, you shouldn't wanna break that up.
Yeah, I guess I have two thoughts about it. So one, I don't think it pains me a lot to try and cap for James Dolan. However, I don't think he is being cheap with this. I think what he's doing is only one team last year where it was in the second apron, and that was the Cleveland Cavaliers. And we saw how restrictive that apron can be. For those who don't know, the second apron is not just about paying a penalty tax as far as money. You get draft picks that are frozen out a year
Mm,
or 7 years out. You aren't allowed to do any combination of trades. So if you want to get a $40 million player, let's say you had two $20 million players, you cannot combine their salaries to be able to trade for that player. The reason why Cleveland was able to get James Harden is because that Darius Garland made like slightly more money, I believe, than James Harden, and therefore that Cleveland was able to acquire him because they were not taking on any more money. You have to take less money in trades unless it's an exact dollar amount, which there are how many players in the league make the exact amount of dollars. You aren't allowed to use any of your exemptions, so no taxpayer mid-level exception, no biannual exception. List goes on and on. It's very punitive as far as going into it. So I have had arguments with people about how I don't think it makes sense to go into a second apron to bring back, and the guys that essentially we were talking about are Mitchell Robinson, Landry Shamet, Jordan Clarkson. Those are essentially, and if you want to get also into it, Mohamed Diawara. He's a guy who didn't play a
mm,
lot, but he will be a restricted free agent coming this season. My thinking is that you shouldn't have to go into the second apron for guys who are essentially, I don't want to call them bit pieces, but they are not your core guys who are able to help you get this championship.
that makes
And if you
sense.
look at the postseason, Mr. Robinson did not, I would say, impact the postseason as postseasons prior, I would say. And I think due to the fact that you have to manage him, he's only going to play 50 to 60 games tops. Is there a team that's going to give him the Steven Adams contract? That's another guy who's a perfect comp because he also always gets hurt. My own counter to that is if you won the fucking title, bring everyone back. Right. So like as I said all of that, you can also get out of the apron, right?
Mm,
It is more punitive if you stay in it for years and
right.
years and years versus going into it for 1 year, then dipping back out of it for the following season. We will see what Cleveland will do because they are currently still in the second apron. I don't know Cleveland's finances too much. We might do that on a later pod, later in summertime, but they might also need to be a team who ducks out of the second apron. To me, this seems like something that I think Dolan can be convinced of. I generally do not think that this is a money thing
Mm.
because, I mean, there was a report that saw that he was making like 20, I think in this playoff run, he made like $20 billion or something crazy like that from everything that happened from ticket sales to merch. The amount of stores that sold out
Oh, yeah.
of Knicks gear and all that stuff is licensed, right? Like they got to
Yeah,
pay a fee to get that
exactly.
from Kith, New York or nowhere. All those stores were sold out. the NBA store that's in the middle of the city, you can't buy Knicks gear anymore. Like, it's all gone or it's all backloaded, you know? And so I just don't think that he's never been a guy that's been cheap in his history. And
Yeah.
so I don't think that now is the time where he's like, I'm going to be cheap. You know, like, this team has made him so much more money. I think he at least has an understanding of, I need to cut a check for it. I think this is going to be more or less a conversation about whether or not they want to do it. And I think how many years they would want to stay in the second apron versus going for it. But that was a lot of me capping for a man who I despise very, very much. So yeah, there's that. I do want to turn a bit and talk about the Spurs.
Mm.
And specifically just Wemby. I've had this convo not on here, but in people having conversations, you know, where I am. Knicks talk is still a big thing, and they've asked me a lot about, like, you know, Victor Wembanyama and how it is. And I have two thoughts of him, and see if you agree or disagree with me. As a Knicks fan, as someone who roots for the team, who wants the team to win, I fucking hate this guy. Okay.
Mm.
All the dirty stuff, it's just annoying. He should have gotten a flagrant foul when Brunson rolled his ankle on him in game 5. His ankle completely rolled and they didn't call it. That's the exact call they gave Brunson in game 3 of the series against Julian Champagnie. It's the landing foul, or the AKA the Kawhi Leonard rule. His ankle completely turns, and Wemby's foot is completely underneath him. This is not a judgment call. That's the exact foul call. Didn't give it to him. He threw Brunson's head down for no reason. I'm not going to give him crap about the everyone thinks we're going to win clip, because I think he got clip farmed a little bit from that. If you listen to him prior to that, he's talking about his team, like the team believes that they will win. But some of the other stuff about him and the Spurs, because I absolutely believe that they take their cues from him. He does not give anyone any credit at all. And he's out there talking his shit, but he's able to back it up. And he wasn't able to back any of this up. Okay. He's got a lot to work on for his game. As an NBA fan, and as someone who loves the league and wants the league to grow, this was the best thing to happen for the NBA. The best. You have a guy now who's been embarrassed on the national stage. This is the most watched finals since 1998. And think about, you were what, 1? I was 7. Like, you know, we weren't really like able to watch a lot of ball or whatever. And the limited amount of shows you could watch at that time, it makes this one of the most watched finals ever. But now everyone knows this guy's name. He's divisive. So now you're tuning in. Either you're going to hate this guy, you're going to love this guy. And he has a beef with the biggest city on the planet. And if things go well, Jalen Brunson might be on the Olympic team now.
True.
Like that's going to be a discussion. I didn't think he was going to be able to, because by the time the Olympics come around, he would have been 31 years old. He'll be 31. He'll be 31, turning 32. So he might have been on the edge of being able to play, but it's not like his game. He's not jumping off the gym already. So like he can still.
And also, Steph was older too.
Exactly. Steph was much older on the team. So was LeBron, Kevin Durant. Like, we have seen older guards play on the team. So I think that he will be on this team versus the team that I think everyone thinks is going to be their biggest competition is France. So with all that said, if I'm Adam Silver, I am ecstatic for what happened, because this guy's a psychopath. He's going to try to win. I think the dirty stuff that's either in you or not in you. Draymond Green's been doing dirty shit since he was 15. All right. Like he wasn't going to stop when he got to the NBA. I think Wemby can stop, but I just think that it's inside of him. And I think the biggest point that I think Nick Wright said was the reason why they didn't give him a flagrant for mushing Brunson's head is because they feel like he can't control himself. And if you look at it, he essentially got 2 more flagrants after that one wasn't called. The one where he elbowed Cat in the mouth in Game 4, and the one on Brunson that they didn't call with the landing foul. So that's kind of my thought of Wemby's overall NBA Finals experience.
Yeah, I would say I agree to the point that like this is you couldn't script this any better if you're the NBA. To all my pro wrestling fans, the term long term storytelling. This is definitely that. You can't have the star and his light burn too bright too fast, because then obviously that won't be sustainable for long term storytelling and long term revenue and long term popularity. So you needed this arc for him to take him down a notch. He definitely helped out his heel turn with all of his actions in the finals and in the playoffs in general. Um, the bravado thing, it's funny. People love that about him, especially when he was backing it up. But like, yeah, when you're the head of a team that's constantly losing leads, yeah, people are going to use that bravado to clown in your face, and he definitely took his lashes for that. But yeah, everyone loves a redemption arc, and definitely in terms of having creating stars and to be the face of the league, bring that up again for the future. Um, Again, going back to pro wrestling, like this is how you would do it. You can't you can't have them be so popular so fast. You need to give something for people to latch onto, like to like I said, bring them down a peg, and then you start to build them up again because that's going to take its art from here to even higher because like I said, everyone loves that redemption story. And all the best stars you look at in NBA history have had their own version of this type of redemption arc. Even Michael Jordan, which was interesting that you noted that like this is the most watched finals since basically MJ's last finals. But like you think about early in MJ's career, yeah, he wasn't that. I mean, obviously Air Jordan, all that. He came in, shooting star and all that. But then 4 or 5 years into his career, like, oh, this guy's just a ball hog who shoots all the time.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson came in, won a championship, and then he had to go on his own redemption arc after some bad finals performances and becoming known as Tragic Johnson. Shaq too. Shaq was crazy popular when he came into the league. Got even more popular because his personality and his just dominating play style. And then, oh wait, get swept in the finals. Wait, you can't get back to the finals. You can't make it work with this talented Orlando team. You have to go to the Lakers, and you still can't make it work there with all of their resources. And it took him another 5 years just to get back to the finals and win. After getting swept in, what was it, 1995, and
Yeah.
LeBron too. Like it goes on and on. So in terms of having stars that can lead the way into the future, just as someone who's noticed and watched the history of the league, this is honestly how you do it. And as fun as as fun as it has been for people who didn't like Wemby, or for Knicks fan who developed their hate for Wemby this playoffs, as fun as it is to like clown on him and like, yeah, man, like this guy, he's all talk. He's not who he thinks he is. History shows that this is kind of just a stepping stone to further greatness. Um, so I don't know if I'm on the side of anyone here. I mean, yeah, a lot of things he did, especially in the finals, was not great to watch. But again, like we could just again be on the cusp of something even greater, an even greater story down the line with his legacy going forward.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, as someone who is a Knicks fan, I will also tell you that some of those people are losers. And I mean, they're just calling it what it is. And yeah, like him basically making this a thing, I think, is going to be fine. Do you think he was crowned too early as the
Mm.
best player in the league? I don't believe so, because I don't think the best player in the league has to win the championship. I think you can be the best player in the league and not. I think still thought LeBron was the best player in the league, even though he lost to the Warriors the first time. right?
True.
There was never really a point, even if you want to say LeBron best player in the league was from 07 to what's conservatively. When did Giannis win his first MVP? Was that 18, 19,
I want to say 19. I think 18
19?
is Harden.
Yes, I think it was Giannis was 19, 20. No. It was the year before that. It was 18, 19, and then 19, 20 because he won back to back and he got the
Right.
MVP in the
Yes.
bubble. But that was the year he didn't win in the bubble. They won the year
Right.
after that.
After. Yep.
Because it's the same trajectory with Jokic. Jokic won his first two MVPs, and then
And
he
then he
won
won
his
the finals.
championship the year after he won the MVP, and then won the MVP again the following season.
Yeah.
Oof, man, my brain is still all that on the fly. Anyway, like fuck, I forgot the whole thing I was talking about. But the the point of the whole thing is like you're going to go through this. Oh, sorry, it was LeBron.
Yeah.
If I conservatively say LeBron's that 10-year gap, he was the best player in the NBA. He would have then have lost the 2007 finals. He would have lost the 2011 finals. He would have lost the
14.
17 and the 18 finals. So we have lost 4 finals in that span.
5. 2014 as well.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that. So this man who we all thought was the best player in the league, no one, I think, really disputes at least that 10-year gap. Now, you might say it was longer than that or whatnot, but like he was at least the best player for those 10 years. And he lost 5 times in the finals, right? And I'm pretty sure he got swept twice in that span. He got swept by the
Yep.
Spurs. He got swept by the Warriors.
Yeah.
And he lost in 5 games to Dallas and the Spurs. Like, LeBron has not lost in like close fashion. He's either 1 in 7, 1 in 5, and then he won in 6 against the Heat team in the bubble. And it is, no one thought he wasn't the best player. And I just feel as if like he is, you can still be the best player without winning the title. So I still think Wemby can be, if not, he is the best player in the league, even though he just had not a great performance so far.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, MJ, you could say, was the best player in the league the 3 years leading up to his first championship, from like 88 to 91, or even 87 to 91. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of examples of people not having to, you know, be the last man standing in order to be crowned the best player in the league. Um, to the question of was he crowned too soon? I think that's kind of like on us as fans who always love to hype up the next best thing. The young and rising superstar. But I mean, to be the best player in the league has to be earned, in my opinion, and hence why I was okay. I am okay if someone were to say Jalen Brunson is the best player in the league, because he definitely has earned it. And or you can stay with SGA being the best player in the league because he has earned it. Even though I'm a Lakers fan, I wouldn't even say Luka is the best player in the league, because although he has reached some good peaks, he hasn't earned that right to say that. And so, yeah, I was Wemby crowned too early, probably, because you know he was just something we haven't seen before, being the alien that he is. But just looking back in history, we can come to the conclusion that um, someone like Wemby or just any young superstar, they it's always going to be too early when they face their first obstacle, because their talent allows them to arrive at that checkpoint way earlier than other people or other talented players. But everything has to be earned, and although although the Spurs team overachieved, I mean, just thinking Wemby is still just finished up his 3rd season. Stephon Castle just finished up his 2nd season. Harper just finished up his rookie season. Um, it's so clear that the Spurs team was way ahead of schedule, that we have to look back with some type of clarity and realize that, like, no, this team, although they lost in a historic fashion, in a historically embarrassing fashion.
Yeah, that's
They
gonna be bad, bro. 29
yeah,
points is bad.
exactly. It, even game 4, I was telling someone the other day, like, if you were actually living under a rock and like somehow you missed all of the finals, I was just telling them to just watch game 4 because it was just the epitome of the entire final series.
Someone has a shirt of the timeline of like the moment the Spurs starts. It was like whatever got up to 29 points, like whatever
Yeah.
that score was. They literally have a shirt of that now. Listen, shout out. Listen, I am very much my personal style is I don't like giving billionaires a bunch of extra cash. So like I'm a bootleg king. Like so all the bootleg shirts I'm copping. Like I already have enough like Knicks gear. I'm about to spend a lot more money on a lot more stuff.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
it's crazy that we watched that game together. Like that was like a fever. I just again, like I said to most people, I lost my mind for about 4 minutes. As we watched that, um, as we watched it together. But yeah, like you have to go through this evolution of a player, right? And that's why it just felt so frustrating that I feel like, and we can actually probably talk about the topic now of like what we learned from this NBA season.
Mm,
And I think the biggest thing is that what we learn is that all of the shit that we said wins in the playoffs, won in the playoffs. You know what won? Experience. You know what also the playoffs taught us? Anyone can win.
yeah,
You got to get in. You know what's great in the playoffs? Depth.
yeah,
You know what you also need to have in the playoffs? Health. Like, I'll never forget the people who actually picked the Pistons to win like that was fucking stupid. Like, oh man, like it's just to me, I think, and we can go into for next season at some point, we'll get to that. But there are just certain things you need in the playoffs. You need experience. You just do. You just need guys who've been there, who've been through battles and good experience, not
mm,
Cleveland level experience where you're just getting smashed all the time. I would even argue Minnesota is on that line per se
mhm,
of having that bad experience. I just think we haven't gotten to the place yet with Donovan Mitchell, with Anthony Edwards that we have with Donovan Mitchell as of
oh
yet.
yeah,
But it's
yeah,
coming. Oh, he's getting dangerously close. You know, all that I say what I want. That's going to turn real fast for people if he doesn't at least get to a finals at some point. Um, I just feel like the fact that you probably need to have two bigs that can play at the same time. You
yeah,
know, you can't have limited shooting on the court for expanded periods of time. Um, it's like it is just these tried and true methods that are ways for you able to get better and to show out in the postseason. And I think those things I really took away from this postseason specifically. Um, those things. How about you? Was there anything that really stuck out for you for this postseason that you took away?
oh man, you hit a lot of the points, a lot of the trends that definitely played out this postseason. Uh, I would add on to that uh, coaching, experience coaching. Um,
Mhm.
you know,
Analytical coaching?
actually, I might have to take that back because even Kenny Atkinson is an experienced coach, but
But listen,
arguably,
Kenny, is he really? Because Kenny, I believe this was only his third time in the playoffs. Because he made it
as a
once
head
with the
coach, you're
Nets,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he made it once with the Nets and they got fired,
Hmm.
and he made it last year with Cleveland, and then this was his third. I'm pretty sure he's only been to the playoffs 3 times
True.
versus like
True.
Mike Brown's been to the playoffs like 10 times as a head coach.
Yeah. No, yeah. You're right on that. I was probably giving him too much credit as an assistant coach. Um, but just trying to think, well, I don't know. I don't think I can say coaching now because like you're just looking at the last 5 championships or championship teams and like looking at their coaching. Uh, a lot of them were actually young coaches. Even going
Yeah.
back to like Nick Nurse 8 years ago. So I don't know if like I guess I should take that back.
It's
Coaching
funny
is
because a
not
lot of those
his strength.
guys are fired now.
Yeah, that too. So, maybe that's not the trend I want to harp on. But yeah, you made a lot
Well,
of great
I
points
get your
about.
point though. I do think, but I do think, I think coaching is underrated talent, but I
Mhm.
think we just don't have patience for coaching, right?
Yeah, that's a
Like,
good point.
don't worry, they're gonna want to fire Mike Brown after a 3-game losing streak. Like, don't get too comfortable, my guy.
Unfortunately for him, that's a part of his lore. It's like he
Of
does great,
course,
and then like a year after his great season, it's like get this guy out of here.
get this guy up out of here, right? Because for all that love, they'll still want you gone, right? Like, Bud got fired. Who's from the Lakers? I can see the dude's face too. It's Frank
Frank
Vogel,
Vogel. Yep,
which to me, Vogel fit the mold of Mike Brown's
I agree.
very similarly as a guy who coached a bunch of teams. I don't think Vogel got a team to the finals though prior to
No,
the
he got
Lakers.
close with the Pacers,
Yes,
and yeah, no,
and then but he was with the Lakers. He was fired. We already talked about the Nurse was fired. That was a little bit different because I feel like they were just breaking up that team. And so,
yeah,
like, he was like, "I'm not trying to do all that."
right.
Bud is fired, Budenholzer rather,
Mhm.
for the Denver, um,
I mean,
who's
Steve
now the
Kerr's still
coach.
there.
Steve Kerr still coaching,
Joe Mazzulla.
Missoula, I believe, and Dagnall,
Uh,
but Dagnall
yeah,
just
Dagmar.
won last year. We're talking about the guys who literally just won a couple years ago, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Literally the last 3 coaches. So yeah, coaching in the NBA is funny in that sense where like they're gonna fire Brown at some point. It's just
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
all
part of
you
the
should
game.
expect to be short term. Kind of going back to the whole soccer comparison, like that's the case how it is in soccer. Y- Coach is doing well for a season and a half, and then one bad run is like is he's literally getting run out of town. So yeah, another comparison to the NBA becoming more like soccer in Europe and the European influence. But yeah, going back to the what we learned about the playoffs, yeah, you hit it all on the head in terms of having shooting, having depth, and then it's funny enough, we cycled back to having two bigs on the court and being able to have that. But in a more modern sense, you at least one of the bigs have to be able to either play make or shoot, or preferably both. And so, yeah, that is probably what's going to be the new archetypes going forward for the league and teams that are serious about contending. Essentially, looking at going back to the Celtics, OKC, and Knicks this year, people don't realize, but the teams kind of made up in similar fashion in terms of having depth and shooting and versatile bigs. So definitely, if you're serious about putting together a contending team, that is one of the lessons you're going to take away from this season.
Yes, yes, and I think that's the valuable takeaway. And also you need to spend money. You're just
Okay.
not going to be able to. Yeah, you're just not unless again OKC. I think is if you look at the last 8 years, they are very much the anomaly. All of these other teams had guys making significant amount of money.
Sure.
Uh, in order to win the championship. The Spurs
You
would have
get what
been
you pay for.
exactly. The Spurs would have been an incredibly cheap team to win the title, and that's why I think their build is going to be interesting because they don't have to pay Victor until next season. Well, his extension won't kick until next season. Um, Meaning not this coming season, the season after that. Harper is still a rookie, so you have 3 more seasons essentially before his money ever comes into play. And
Right.
Castle, you have 2 more seasons before that ever comes into play. So, do they make a move to try and add more money now? I don't think that they have to do that. However, we just talked about you get what you pay for. Um, is there someone that they want to try and trade to get? Now, they do have a $200 million player who might uh, be on the bench
Yeah.
shortly, but that's for the San Antonio podcast in the offseason.
Yeah.
But
I was
to close, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was out to that point. They do have a lot of vets on that roster that they can probably easily get off of in terms of like all those veteran bigs that they have that they didn't play. And Harrison
The
Barnes as
hit
well.
squad.
Yeah, the hit squad, the goons. Yeah.
Listen, people got mad at Wemby for that. I kind of like that, bro.
They
Like
do.
you got to bring the goons back. You know what I'm saying? They still need a role in the league. One time, what I'm good for? 6 fouls, baby.
Nah, for sure. Anyone who's a fan of 90s and 2000s basketball, you should have been happy to see that. That was very nostalgic. But yeah, as in terms of like, should they bring more money on? I would venture to say yes. If you think you're close, and like obviously you were essentially the runner up to the championship, so you are close. I think another Bill Simmons thing is like you shouldn't take for granted what your run will be or how long your windows will last. And so you should be trying to put the best team around your best players as often as possible. And so in line of that thinking, I would say, yeah, you have to at least get someone in this free agency that can contribute to you getting over the hump and helping out Wemby, especially in that front court.
Yes, front court depth. I think, especially a guy like we just spoke about, a guy who will be able to play alongside Wemby.
Right. Rui Hachimura. I mean, even though I'm a Lakers fan, but like that
He wants
seems
to
like
get
a good
that
fit.
bag. I was
Yeah,
seeing because I think Michael J. Wright, who covers the Spurs, was saying that there are multiple, which is smart. If you want to get paid and you want to potentially win a championship, winning a championship will help you get paid. You want to play with
exactly.
Victor Wembanyama. There's
Yeah.
already reports that a lot of bigs want to play next to Victor Wembanyama. So the Kristaps Porzingis, the Robert Williams, the Mitchell Robinsons, those guys are all free agents. I could see someone taking like a vet minimum contract or even like, I'm pretty sure the Spurs are under like
Yeah.
the first apron. If not, they are probably right at the first apron.
Hmm.
So I think they could probably give out a mid-level exception to one of those players
No, for
if
sure.
they
If I'm Nick
if they so choose.
Claxton or Nick
Nick
Claxton's agent,
Claxton's trying to get
I'm
traded there.
begging, yeah. Hey, my
Yep,
guy would love to live in Texas for at least a year. Like,
exactly.
yeah,
Whatever it takes.
for real.
Whatever it takes, man. God, yes, because everything sucks for the Nets. Always love to just needle the Nets a little bit.
Yeah. Honestly, that
But
was
yeah,
so funny listening to Mondani's speech, and he was just talking about how beloved the Knicks are, and it's like, it's crazy. They have another team in the city.
but this has always been, and you know what? I'm glad you brought this up. This was always my point with the Nets.
Yeah,
This is why they got to go back. There's nothing there for them. For
facts.
them so there's two, again, we like to say this, I can hold multiple truths. For them as a simple money product, if they are just okay with being a money machine, they should stay in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah,
It's 41 home games, right? People will show up because it's something to do. You will get to see the Knicks twice. LeBron will come, Steph Curry, like the stars of the NBA will play 1 to 2 nights in that building every single time. They will get smacked because they're terrible, and they will build no core fan base, and they're just there. But if they
yeah,
actually want to be a respectable NBA franchise, they gotta go. They
yeah.
gotta go. Like their whole idea was not to. I think they made a egregious mistake when they came to New York. When they came to New York, they said, this was their words, the city is under new management. That was their saying, right? So they wanted to, and I absolutely believe, I said this at the time, if Kevin Durant's foot isn't on the line, I think we were having a very different discussion about how the Nets are viewed. Now, do I think they're going to win the championship? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know that part. But they, in my mind, would have probably gotten to the finals. I don't know if they would be in the Suns, but I feel like they would have gotten the finals because that Atlanta Hawks team did not necessarily make
Yeah.
me feel like they were some real thing. Even though Draymond Green said a couple weeks ago that the Knicks were the Atlanta Hawks of this year, but then he changed his mind, right? You know, because he's
Yeah,
just, yeah.
that
What
was
a
bad.
guy. What a podcaster. What a podcaster. So their model, I think they could have made a little widget of Mets fans. I do think people like cool things, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
they're winning. This is somewhat of a vibe. You could have gotten some celebrities would have jumped on, like Ethan Hawking's a Nets fan. Like you could have carved out a little space for you, and maybe there would have been a real like discussion because the Knicks weren't very good at the time. But that was their mistake. If they just tried to be the Mets, right?
Mm.
Where it's like, okay, we are not trying to take over. We are not going to be the Yankees, but if we stay here long enough, maybe win some championships or at least competent, we can carve out a niche and we can have our own fans, right?
Yeah.
They completely screwed that up. And now they are in a second rebuild and no one cares about them.
Right.
And they're going to suck next year.
Right.
And they're going to suck the year after that. And so when you get good, all right, you are trapped being a team that no one cares about. Okay? Like I've been to Nets games where the Knicks are playing there. No one in the building is a Nets fan. No one in the building. It's like 90-10. Like,
it's astonishing that they thought they can do that by moving to New York with the Knicks and their illustrious history already there. Especially just like anyone who's watched sports, like the lesson or the model is already across the board. And like, just go to LA with the Lakers and Clippers. Like, even I'll give the Clippers credit. They actually did the thing in terms of like capitalizing and creating a fun product while the opposing team was on the downturn.
but what did they do? What did the Clippers do? They moved.
They moved. Yeah.
Moved.
They moved. Yeah, exactly. Even you got LA Dodgers and the LA Angels. Like even, I mean, that's probably that's probably what the Nets are right now in terms of like the comparison to the Angels and the Dodgers. And so there's so many examples to like learn from and to learn what not to do. And they definitely did not take any of those lessons or insights or takeaways. And they kind of went in with a lot of hubris, like you pointed out, and they had nothing to substantiate that or to back up their talk. And right now they're kind of like in purgatory. They're rebuilding after another rebuilding phase. So I don't know. It was so glaring and so funny when I was listening to Madani's speech and just looking at all the love that New York has for the Knicks. It's like, wow, this city actually has another basketball team, like that no one cares about. But
no one cares. Again, when I told people Nets fans don't exist, I was being serious. Like, they are not. They live on the internet. That's where they live.
Quite frankly,
they do not live in New York. I know that for a fact. They do not live in New York. I ain't seen a Nets hat in years.
And then on top of that, the Liberty showed that like you can create a new like basketball fan base in that city that's not just the Knicks. And so obviously it's more management fault or errors than just like the it being too big of a task to accomplish.
And you know what it is too? The Liberty have a history. It's about history. And to be fair to the Nets, they do have an ABA history. They were
That's
the
true.
New York Nets.
Yeah.
But they simply missed the boat. The Liberty are not trying to be bigger than the Knicks.
Right.
They're not, right?
They're creating their own thing.
They created their own thing. They have their own gym. They have fans. I have walked around Brooklyn. I live in Brooklyn. I've walked around where the Barclays Center is. When the Liberty are playing games, I was shocked to see how many hats, shirts, jerseys of people all around, different creeds, codes, everything, walking around, living their lives, going to Liberty games. The games are packed.
Yeah.
And again, for a business aspect, do I think they'll move? No, because I don't think any owner wants to pay that gotta pay to move them back to the Prudential Center. That's in New Jersey. You're losing again. It's 41 nights of ticket sales. You know, does the owner really want to lose that just to move across the bridge? I don't think so. So
No,
they're
yeah,
like you said, they're just stuck in purgatory as the team that is just stuck in hell. And
yeah,
I don't see. I think this run really solidified it. I think this is what was the nail in the coffin of what killed off any type of hope of the Nets ever being somewhat viable in this city.
for sure. Oh, yeah, nah, yeah. There's no saving it.
Give us some
I was
hope.
trying to find a silver lining, but like it's giving like the Donald Sterling motto of business.
The Donald Sterling one was crazy.
Just exist. Just be there for people who can't afford to go to the better teams.
God, nothing warms my heart more than pissing on the Nets. It really does. God, I hate that team so damn much. All right. That is really all the time we have. I really appreciate all the time that you gave me. Lisa, please plug your Substack and what you have writing and what's the latest thing you're working on right now for the summer, man. No more NBA
No
for a
more
while.
NBA. Yeah. Thank you again for inviting me to the pod. Substack is the Fan Economist, or also Olisa's Thoughts. Not a rebrand, but I'm trying to venture out and write more perspective pieces of what I'm seeing in the world of sports and business. Um, but yeah, other than that, trying to see. I've been trying to dive deeper into what's the Score Act and the Save College Sports Act, and seeing what that's all about and how that can potentially affect college sports as well as professional sports. Um, but also it's still like nothing is like really a law yet, so don't want to overreact to the rumblings, but it has been interesting to learn more about that. And then also with the off season, it's going to be off season moves, and there's a lot of front office moves, so I'm gonna look around and see if there's any stories there to dive deeper and to break down. But yeah, Substack again is the Fan Economist, or you can search up Olisa's Thoughts on Substack. And yeah, thank you again.
Nah, man, thank you. Thank you all for listening to the Men Who Cry podcast. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and give us a 5-star rating. If you not do these things, I have to assume that you were texting some of your Knicks friends when the Spurs were up 29 points. You feel dumb right now. Thank you guys again for listening, and I'll talk to you guys again later in the week. All right, peace, everyone.
Awesome.